Good afternoon, everybody. I've got 1 o'clock on the dot. Clerk, if you could call the roll.
Senator Albritton. Here. Senator Carnley. Here. Senator Chambliss. Here. Senator Coleman. Senator Gudger. Senator Hatcher. Here. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison. Senator Hovey. Here. Senator Elliott.
I'm here. We have a quorum. First bill on the calendar is HB 2 by Representative Standridge. Welcome, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Chairman and members of the committee. This is HB 2. This is the bill that would recognize, Alabama would recognize the Gulf of America as the official name for the Gulf. It's the same exact bill that was in this committee last year, and it's the same bill after I'd worked with all the different entities to get it to where it is. So.
Pretty straightforward, members. We've seen it before. Do I have a motion?
Question.
Okay, so I have a motion by Senator Carnley, a second by Senator Chambliss. Discussion. Senator Coleman Madison.
What's the historical significance behind this bill, the Gulf of America?
Well, the historical significance, as we know, the president issued an executive order to name the name Gulf of America. So then after that, it's been recognized by all the federal agencies. It's also been state of Florida. They took up a law and passed it to name it the Gulf of America. The state of Louisiana did it by executive order. And so I just brought the bill to for it to make it consistent so that our schools and parks and everybody would have clear direction on what the name should be.
Thank you, Representative. Other questions?
No, I follow up.
Yes, ma'am.
Historically, everything was Mexico. I mean, if we want to talk about history, it seems like we are trying to rewrite history. And as you say, so school kids will know. Well, school kids need to know the truth. We have another bill on here by the Star Spangled Banner coming up somewhere on one of these agendas. I think it's a special order today. Again, it's an effort to not tell the whole story about history. And in this case, we are trying to rename the Gulf of Mexico, which was all a part of Mexico, and act like it didn't happen or it wasn't there. And so to me, to the people, and even in New Mexico, it is really trying to deny or cover up the history of the people in New Mexico. And that's kind of strange as well. Now, you mentioned Florida, you mentioned Louisiana, and you're trying to get Alabama on board, but you haven't said anything about New Mexico. Where do they stand on this?
Well, one of the reasons probably is that, and I don't know what other states are doing beside that, but I know the Gulf states, it is important because the names that are adopted, if you're sovereign and you border that body of water, then you have a right to name that.
All by executive order. I guess we're going to change history, rewrite history by executive order. Kids growing up won't know what to believe.
Other questions or discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Senator Albritton.
Aye.
Senator Carnley.
Aye.
Senator Chambliss. Sorry. Senator Coleman. Senator Gudger. Senator Hatcher. No. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison.
No.
Senator Hovey.
Aye.
Senator Elliott.
Aye. Representative, your bill receives a favorable report. Thank you so much for coming today.
Chairman, members of the committee.
Next up is House Bill 163. Representative Stubbs, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the committee. House Bill 163 is an economic development bill that provides an opportunity for our local governments to participate in an enhancement or an opportunity to improve facilities, manufacture different types of structures throughout counties and cities. This is done in 37 other states, and this is a great opportunity for us to encourage economic development without having to spend any public dollars.
I have a motion by Senator Chambliss, a second by Senator Carnley. Any questions? Senator Albritton.
Is this the bill that we had a discussion in caucus about? It's not?
I don't.
Okay, I'm fine then. I just want to make sure that we're not talking the same thing here.
Got it. Y'all want to do the long roll on this one?
Well, I just want to
Yes,
ask
ma'am.
one question. What's the impact on local cities and counties?
Impact in terms of financial impact?
I guess.
Well, there is no financial impact. There's no obligation. This is permissive, not obligatory. They can choose to participate in the program. They have an opportunity to receive revenue from this, but they are not obligated or putting out any public dollars in any way.
And tell me what the program is again.
So this program, CPACE, is an economic development opportunity where a private property owner and a private lender come together to improve a building that may not be in a historical district, but probably has a lot of upgrades, improvements necessary to make it usable. And so people will borrow money to buy the property, but they don't necessarily have the money to do all the upgrades. This brings an opportunity for the private lender and private property owner to come together. And what the counties and cities do is they have the ability through this program to place a lien on the property to ensure that that borrower is made whole at some point in the future whenever the terms come due. And we've worked with
Sounds like
extensively with ACCA and the League of Municipalities to ensure that this was something that fit their skill set, and the things that they needed were put in this bill at their request.
And it really makes sure that the lender is on board, because now he knows that he's going to be made whole.
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good bill.
Let's call the long roll, please.
Senator Albritton. Senator Carnley. Senator Chambliss. Senator Coleman. Senator Gudger. Senator Hatcher. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison.
Aye.
Senator Hovey. Senator Elliott.
Aye. Bill receives a favorable report. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Members, next on the calendar is SB 326 regarding vessels. I've got that one. We've got a problem on our doorstep, and if you look at our neighboring states, specifically in Florida, we have a abandoned derelict vessel issue going on, and then on top of that we have what can only be described oftentimes as pop-up homeless encampments that are really clogging up the waterways and causing problems in Florida. And so what SB 326 does is gives our friends at Elliott the ability to adopt some rules, gives them some rulemaking authority to define anchoring and how long you may be able to anchor in a particular area, and what an emergency situation is, and what rafting is, and things of that nature. And so the goal here is to make sure that we don't end up with the problems that our neighbors in Florida are seeing and we are starting to see in our areas. And so I'll entertain questions. Senator Coleman Madison.
I just want to know what kind of problems. I don't live along the water.
Yeah, so what you have is folks that are essentially using disabled vessels as homes, and they're building these, encampments, if you will, that are floating, but they have no means of propulsion. They have no means of disposal of sewage or garbage or things like that. And so it's causing water quality issues and other issues of that nature. I have a motion by Senator Hovey, a second by Senator Chambliss. Is there any objection to using the previous roll? Seeing none, bill receives a favorable report. Representative Lamb, you have House Bill 17. Real quick before you get started, hey, to our trooper friends out there, thanks for what y'all do. We appreciate it and hope this gives you some authority you need to get a handle on this problem. Thank you. Sorry, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members, for the opportunity to appear before you today. What I have for your consideration is House Bill 17, and what it does is raises the requirement for annual audits for our smaller cities and counties to $500,000, and from $500,000 to $300,000, they're required to do a biennial. But probably the most significant part of this is 300 or less, still required to do a biannual, or they can do a report designed by the examiners of public accounts, and it saves them the money of audit, but it satisfies the examiners of public accounts.
I have a motion by Senator Albritton. I have a second by Senator Hatcher. I have a comment on this. This bill gave me some concern. We're basically, removing some audit requirements on our small cities, and I was able to sniff around and get some of those concerns addressed. What I am really concerned about is the number of municipalities who are flat out not complying with the statute as it is currently written. They don't do it. And so, Representative, what you're trying to do here, I initially was a little concerned, but we're lowering the cost to these small, very small municipalities so that they can better afford to be accountable. But again, I just wanted, for other members, y'all know I pay attention to this city county stuff pretty tightly. And so I had some initial concerns. I think you're moving in the right direction. But these cities, the message needs to come out far wide. We're trying to make it easier for you to comply, but you will comply, or we've got an examiner of public accounts that's come down on you like a ton of bricks. Senator Kelly.
Mr. Chairman, I think there's an outstanding bill that will be on the floor today that helps with some of your concerns related to these audits and the information being made public where they can be seen.
Well, good.
Thank you, Senator. One comment in regards to that. Before I even brought this bill up, preparers came to me, which ones are selling the audits, basically, and they asked me to do this. And so I got with examiners of public accounts and the League of Municipalities. So all three were, this is their bill, so I wanted to make that.
Well, you've done good work on it, and I just had to do my homework on the good work you've done. So
I agree with you, and
yes,
we need to toughen those things up. Thank you.
You got it. Any objection to using the previous roll on this one? Seeing none, your bill receives a favorable report. Thank you, Representative. Representative Barnes, House Bill 363. Welcome, committee. And you've got some friends with you, too, I think.
Always get by with a little help from my friends. This bill actually is a church and religious protection bill. It stops the interruption from outside entities from coming into the church and causing damage, harassment, disorderly conduct, riot, that type thing. So that's the pretty much scope of what this bill does.
Thank you, members. There is a substitute for it. So before we start moving on this, I'd like to talk about the sub just a little bit, and the sub, if that's okay with you,
Yes,
Representative.
sir.
Okay, I
Yes,
just
sir.
want to make sure, trying to be cognizant of my House colleague here. The sub largely mirrors what the representative is trying to do. It does add some language in there that there's a civil recourse as well. That starts on line 100-ish or so, 101 or so. And so we've worked on that language with our friends at ALCAP. And so I'd entertain a motion on the sub. I've got a motion by Senator Hovey, a second by Senator Chambliss, and we're on the bill, Senator Albritton.
Just one comment. This is dealing with the creating a crime. Usually that comes through judiciary. I think we have the authority to bring it in and deal with it. I just find it interesting that we're dealing with this. Judiciary has too much anyway.
I agree. So excuse
But
me.
it's coming up next, so we're just getting ahead of it.
We're just getting ahead of it, and I'm in that one too. So we're just handling it here. I think, as a former pro tem said, but every one of these things happens in a county or a municipality, and so it is germane for this committee. We need to adopt the sub. So I have a motion and a second on adopting the sub. Any objection to using the previous roll? Okay, the sub's adopted, and then we're on passage of the bill. I have a first by Senator Kelly and a second by Senator Hovey. I have a question. Yes, sir.
What's the purpose of this bill? Do we have this problem in the state of Alabama?
Well, it's more of a preemptive type thing. We don't want to have it, but in the event we do, we want to make sure we have everything in place to address it should that occur. Hopefully it never will, but we want to have everything in place.
So, from a purely theological standpoint, what have we considered what happened with Jesus in the temple?
Well, I've been referred to that, and that has come up, and none of this is going to apply to Jesus and what he did.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Well,
We don't know that. We don't know when he's coming. But
he won't be coming back to cause that kind of disruption from what I've seen.
we don't know that. We don't know that. A real close reading of that the temple experience is that that was incredibly disruptive. Turning over tables
Right.
disrupts things. I'm very concerned about this type of legislation. It moves far too close to a theocracy, and I do not believe in putting forth legislation as a preemptive strike. Not like this, because this is virtue signaling, and for me, it becomes a real concern because people worship differently. Now, I get what you're saying about one of the things that happened recently in another state. What I hope we try to avoid, and I've seen quite a bit of that in this body, is boilerplate legislation that finds ourselves addressing these types of issues that, for the most part, we don't have a problem with. That's a real concern for me, Mr. Chairman. So I will be voting no on this legislation.
Senator Albritton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And recognizing and crediting my friend next to me about his concerns, I would call attention. We whatever our circumstances may presently be in Alabama, the incident that touched my faith in Minnesota, where on a Sunday morning, an individual simply rammed the truck in and attacked with gasoline and gunfire. I think this has an opportunity, hopefully, to prevent some of that, give some second thoughts. But the challenges and the threats are real, and they result in death and harm, and it's our responsibility to try to control those aspects. I welcome the day when the Savior comes, but when I'm always ready, I hope, but we'll find out which side of that fire I'm on. But anyway, the aspect of being prepared for what it may come to us is important, I think, in particular in the circumstances of our society. And I appreciate your concerns, but I'm voting yes on it.
Senator Coleman Madison.
I have a question because I'm assuming this is referring to people outside
Yes, ma'am.
forces. What if it's somebody who's a member of the church?
Then it should be handled by the church.
Okay. So if it's a member of the church that's instigating or bringing in the group, or maybe the head of it, it would be different.
Well, if you bring someone externally in for the intent to disrupt, it would fall probably under these guidelines. If they're there and a member of that church or invited guest, whatever, and something occurs internally among the membership, congregation, whatever, this doesn't apply to them.
Okay, because I know that we have churches that fall out and get into all-out fist fight. That has happened. We didn't pass a bill about that, but that has happened, and it continues to happen. It's kind of funny. I don't know whether I'm supporting the bill or not, but I'm going to be neutral on this. But I will say, as far as looking at things that might happen,
Yes, ma'am.
I really wish this body would be more deliberative and looking at trying to find solutions to problems. And they are numerous that we have in this state that we can solve, instead of looking for a problem or having a solution for a problem that we don't have, rather. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? Okay, I have a motion by Senator Chambliss, a second by Senator Hopi for favorable report. Clerk, call the long roll, please.
Senator Albritton. Senator Carnley. Senator Chambliss. Senator Coleman. Senator Gudger. Senator Hatcher. Senator Kelly. Senator Coleman Madison. Senator Hovey. Senator Elliott.
Aye. Representative, your bill receives a favorable report. Thanks for being here. Is this your first bill?
It is, yes.
Boy, did you pick one to start with.
But I could not have selected a more important one. from my perspective.
Yes, sir. And I will say, members, y'all get to know this guy. He's worked back and forth with me on this piece of legislation. It is something that we have been back and forth with colleagues and staff an awful lot, and you've been a pleasure to work with, sir. And so, thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
We're adjourned.